18 months ago, we traded in our old internal combustion engine cars and got 2 used EVs. And now we're saving up to £3,000 a year. And we did this all on a budget. And I know some people out there have said, the average Tom, you have a Tesla. Like, how are you doing this on a budget? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. So come a bit closer. This Tesla's done over 120,000 miles. So in this video, I'm going to go through exactly why it's the perfect time to buy a used EV at the moment, and why we need to recondition our brains to think about high mileage cars, and that's specifically for those used EVs. I bought this car for less than what a used Ford Focus will cost on this current market. And the best thing about it, in the used EVs market, it's only going to get better. And I'm also going to talk about that ridiculous 1p per mile tax that's going to come into law. Now, if you want to find out how I managed to get a car that goes 0 to 60 quicker than an Aston Martin DB9, and it cost less than the price of a Ford Fiesta, then let's get into it. So I bought this Tesla for just under £12,500, and yes, it has done a lot of mileage, but I'm convinced that the technology that's backed behind EVs nowadays, provided that you get a battery health check done before your purchase, you can be safe to know that you're covered. This video won't be specifically about this Tesla, but I just wanted to share with you my experience and why I have complete confidence in the tech involved with electric vehicles that should give you that confidence to buy a high mileage used EV. And in doing so, you can really get an absolute bargain out there that can last for years and years in the future. And we really need to recondition ourselves with what we've always thought about traditional cars, where it's all about low mileage cars when you're buying used. It's not that way anymore with EVs. These batteries can last well into 200,000 miles, especially with those from Tesla. And I'm absolutely convinced this car will do way beyond that. So what's stopping you from buying a used car if the battery's going to survive that amount of time? Because it's not like a petrol or diesel car where you've got so many different things that can go wrong. You've got 250 moving parts in that engine, and you've got cam belts, you've got oil filters, you've got water filters, you've got all those sorts of things that can go wrong over time that you're going to be paying through the nose for. And what's great about electric vehicles, a lot of them now have 10-year warranties on those batteries. Now with Tesla, it only lasts up to 120,000 miles, so I've surpassed that now, so I don't actually have any coverage on the battery, but I'm absolutely convinced that batteries can last. So when we're coming to looking at used EVs now, I really do think that you should be extending that mileage filter, because EVs can really last a longer period of time. So what are the things to really look out for in an electric vehicle? Well, speaking from experience, I knew that in Teslas and other electric vehicles, because of the amount of weight that they have, an additional weight, so the weight of this car compared to what my Ford Focus was, this is 38% heavier, and you can really feel it on the road sometimes in electric vehicles, unless they have a really, really good suspension. But a lot of them, just because of the sheer volume of weight that they has behind them, you can really feel it on those potholes and just general driving. It isn't maybe as comfortable as other ICE cars would be because of how light they can be, whereas electric vehicles, they've always got that added weight of carrying that massive battery around. So there is that you need to bear in mind. So one thing to keep in mind when you're buying a used high mileage Tesla is the bushes. Now these can be relatively cheap to swap out, but when you're buying it, people always forget about your consumer rights. Now this is exactly what happened to me. So I bought this car from a dealership, and I would always recommend buying them from a dealership, because if you're not car savvy like myself, then you're always covered if you're with a dealership by the Consumer Rights Act. So after I bought this car, I had it checked over by Cleevely EV, and I would 100% recommend that any EV that you're interested in or that you've purchased to get checked over by Cleevely EV. They're specialists and experts in EVs, and they'll be able to do a detailed report about the sort of issues that your car might have because of its high mileage. And on that report, if there are any critical failures or major failures, now for example in mine, because it's a high mileage Tesla, and I'm not that car savvy, there were some critical failures on mine. I had detached and worn bushes on mine, but because of the Consumer Rights Act, I was then able to have that report from Cleevely EV and go back to the dealership and say, look, I've got this report from Cleevely EV that clearly states that they are worn and detached bushes. What are you going to do about it? And this can be done within any point within the first 6 months of purchase. So within your time of buying your used vehicle, always get it checked from Cleevely EV within that early period, so you're covered by the Consumer Rights Act. Now, some dealerships might ask to do it themselves, but I would always recommend getting Cleevely EV to carry out that work, because they are specialists, especially on Teslas. They are specialists in Teslas. So they were able to replace those worn old bushes with brand new ones. So this car basically has whole new suspension bushes, which is absolutely fantastic, because that can mean it can last for another 80, 100,000 miles, which is absolutely incredible. Now, one thing you need to make sure that you do when you're looking at used EVs is always make sure to get a battery health check done before your purchase, because that's going to tell you what sort of life the battery has had. And if it's been rapid charged an excessive amount, then that's going to decrease the life in the battery. So it's really key that you get that battery health report. A lot of the systems nowadays, they do it through its internal computer, so you'll be able to get it yourself before purchasing it. But a lot of the dealerships as well, they also offer that peace of mind with a battery health check. And to get a percentage of that battery done as a health check is really, really key as well. So this car had 93% battery health. So at it being a 2021 car, that's really, really good. It shows that the battery wasn't rapid charged so much, and it was done within its constraints of charging, which is really good. So it means it's got plenty of life left to give. And even now at 100% charge, it will show 346 miles, which is really incredible, really. So I'm rest assured that this battery has got plenty of life left in it to go for over 200,000 miles, easy peasy. So I just really do think we need to recondition our brains into what a used high mileage EV means, because you can really get some good bargains out there. So many people are just worried and scared about high mileage cars, but EVs, I just don't believe we should be scared about it. And you can really pick up some incredible bargains if you take away that constraint in your mind. So my previous internal combustion engine car was a Ford Focus diesel, and any other car that I've had before I've driven, I had an Audi A3, had a Mercedes-Benz A-Class, and nothing is in comparison to the pace, the instant torque that you get from an electric vehicle. And not only the Tesla, my previous other electric vehicles, they just seem quicker. It's just that instant torque you get is just so different to any other car I've driven. Even now, if I'm at a standstill now and then bang, you're off, like just that instant torque, it can really put you back in your seat. And if you're at a junction or a roundabout, you know, and you've got that little bit of gap, that you've got that little bit of space that you know that you wouldn't have been able to do in any other car, but in an electric vehicle, and especially the Teslas, you can make that easily. It's just that instant torque that you get straight off the line, and you can just leave others in your wake, really. It's just a great feeling to have. The preconditioning is also an absolutely fantastic additional feature that people, when they come from an ICE car, it becomes second nature to you. It's just a great additional feature that on those cold winter mornings, you can preheat your car, or on those hot days, you can get that air conditioning on so that when you get in your car, it's absolutely lovely at your required temperature. Whereas, you know, when it's icy and your car's all iced up, you can just press a button and within 30 minutes it's completely defrosted. There's none of that waiting around in your car, turning the engine on, waiting for it to all defrost through while you're sat there in your gloves or you're scraping your car. None of that anymore. It's all gone. You could just tap of a button and it does it all for you. It's absolutely great. But look, the instant torque and waking up to a warm car isn't the reason why we made the switch. Let's be honest, it's to save cost. I have a 40-mile commute to and from work, and it's now 80% cheaper doing it in an EV compared to my diesel car, what I was doing before. That's insane. So between my commute and my wife's commute, we do over 24,000 miles combined between us a year. That same amount of mileage, if we had two petrol cars doing 45 miles per gallon, that would have cost us over £3,200. Now, because we have two EVs, that's now costing us £437 a year. So the savings are monumental. That's just less than £3,000 every year. Now, the reason why I'm saying it's the best time to buy an EV at the moment is because I know how the market has changed, because this isn't my first EV. In October 2024, I actually purchased a Hyundai Ioniq to go along with my wife's car. So that was the first time we made the switch over to having two EVs. Now that Hyundai I absolutely loved. It was a 33 kilowatt hour, so it was a smaller battery size, but the drive in it was fantastic. It was lovely, it was comfortable, it had all the other features that other EVs have. Yes, it wasn't as quick as the Tesla is, but there was one reason I had to make the change and look for another EV. And that wasn't because of poor efficiency, it was fantastic in efficiency. It wasn't because of its top speed or its acceleration, they were okay. It was for another reason, and that was because I was seen as a taxi driver. So I don't know about you guys, but if you've seen Hyundai Ioniqs out and about, I would say not all taxis are Hyundai Ioniqs, but all Hyundai Ioniqs are taxis. And I have first-hand experience from that. There would be occasions where I'd go to pick up my wife and I'd be sat there and someone would just get in the back of the car and thinking I was a taxi driver. So then and there I was like, okay, I'm not going to be having this car anymore. I don't want to be part of Tom's Taxis. Let's look at elsewhere. So at the time in October 2024, £10,000 to £12,000 could get you a Hyundai Ioniq, and that was about it. Fast forward 12 months, that can get you a Tesla, it opens up to many more options. So there is a checklist that you need to have before you sign up and get yourself an electric vehicle, because you need to make sure you've got the right electric vehicle tariff to allow you to get onto that cheap rate electricity to make sure you can achieve those great savings that I spoke about earlier. So you need a tariff that can be from 6p to about 8p that has the longest period of time, that gives you that off-peak rate so you can charge your car up at home. And obviously you need to make sure that you've got a charger at home, a 7 kilowatt charger. Obviously you can charge from a 3-pin plug, but it's not ideal. The best way is to get a 7 kilowatt charger. So my current tariff that I have, I'm with Eon Next Drive, and that's 6.7p between 12 AM and 7 AM. So that's 7 hours of off-peak charging, and that's currently a market leading rate. But a lot of rates are now changed so that you cannot get that. And in a future video, I'm going to go through, because my contract is expiring soon. So keep an eye out for that next video, because I'll be comparing what are the current best EV tariffs that are available out there at this current point. As I mentioned, I'm currently on an Eon Next Drive tariff. So if you want to join Eon, then use my link in the description and that will get you £50 off, and it will also help support me and the channel and making more of these videos for you guys. And I've also seen there's a lot of people out there who haven't actually subscribed and have watched my videos, and to be honest, if you haven't subscribed, then sometimes your Wi-Fi might potentially go down. Nah, I'm only kidding, but thank you very much for watching, and if you do like this sort of content, then please like and subscribe. Right, let's talk about that 3 pence per mile thing that's going to come into fruition in the next couple of years. It's not going to happen in the current format. It just doesn't make any sense. People can poke holes in it so many different ways. You know, how can you tell if you've driven in different countries? Cars that are less than 3 years old, they don't go for MOT. There's so many different things that can poke holes into this scheme. So I'd be absolutely shocked if this, in its current form, comes into pass, especially before a general election. It's like turkeys voting for Christmas. It doesn't make any sense. There'll be some miraculous new policy that comes into play before the general election. It's so obvious. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. And even if it does come into play, 3 pence per mile on top of 1.9 pence, which is what normal EVs can get, versus 15 pence per mile in a petrol car, that's a massive difference. It's just under 3 times less. So that's even with that tax per mile on there. So it doesn't worry me in the slightest. It's still the best way to go. And it's only going to get better when more and more cars that are getting that little bit older, they've had more mileage, they come into play, so you can really get and grab yourself a great bargain. And it's funny really, about 6 months ago when I did buy the Tesla, my friend was looking at a brand new petrol car. He was looking at the Skoda Octavia. So in this channel, I'm always talking about return on investment, but when it comes to a car, it's always going to be an expense. So when I say about looking for a car, you're always trying to look to minimize that expense, whilst keeping the best possible car that you can get in terms of performance and comfort.
And I really do think that getting a used high mileage EV is the best of both worlds, because you're reducing the amount of money that you're going to lose over a certain period of time. Whereas if you're buying into a petrol or diesel car, so I'll give that example of my friend buying that Skoda Octavia, that's looking for about £30,000. Now that comes with free servicing, and obviously you don't get an MOT for the first 3 years, but that car was £28,000. So yeah, you don't have servicing and you don't have an MOT for those first 3 years. But the amount of money you're going to lose net over that period of time on a typical APR rate, so the net loss over that period of time would be £22,000. Whereas if you go for a high mileage used car that has the same specs, if not better, well, definitely better, Tesla definitely says better than a Skoda Octavia, but your net losses, including fuel and servicing and all that sort of stuff, would be about £10,000. So there is where I'll say the sweet spot is. You're mitigating your losses and you're also driving a fantastic car. And that's where I think people should be aiming to go for, instead of going for those ridiculously high priced petrol and diesel cars when the amount of money you're forking out every single week for petrol is just too much, especially for those people that are doing high mileage. Now, I know I haven't covered mileage and range at all, and that's because I don't really think about it anymore. The amount of the population that drive over 300 miles, it's minimal, it's less than 1%. So what's the point in thinking about it? Okay, fair enough if there's a battery size that's less than 40 or 50 kilowatt hours, but modern EV cars now, and this is why I say it's always going to get better, because now in that used EV market, you're going to get 60 kilowatt, 70 kilowatt, like I found, onto that market. So you don't have to think about range anxiety anymore. My Tesla can do over 350 miles, easy peasy, but I don't even think about it because I'm always charging it at home. It's easy. So why should you? And that's why I say that the market is only going to get better, because bigger and bigger batteries in high mileage or just over time are going to be coming onto Auto Trader or whatever your preferred used car dealership is at a cheaper price. So instead of going for those petrol brand new ones that will only last for a specific amount of time before things start going wrong for it, then why not look into that EV market and give yourself better comfort, cheaper to run, and just an all-round better car, in my opinion. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate every one of your views. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments, if positive and negative things. Love to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon.